up, and SKT came back in a miracle turnaround. But Jin Air was dominant in game 2 up until just seconds before the end, really. And Annie, not going to be used by Che. That has been one of Che's better champions, and I think we're going to see that more as a blue side ban, already starting tonight. Last week we saw it start to trend as a red side first round draft pick, and now that means, of course, you're going to take that away on the blue side.
So they don't want Che on that hard engage support. I mean, he was kind of the original Annie player this year in Champions.
Yes, he was. Even when Annie wasn't so meta, he was still doing quite well on it. Rek'Sai, not going to be available for Chaser. That is probably his strongest meta jungler. He's definitely more of a Rek'Sai player than he is a Gragas player.
Then we have the Azir ban for Coco. Understandable.
Yes, I think that is wise. So no Ryze, no Alistar, no Gragas. Something's getting through here.
I mean, if Helper's such a carry-oriented top laner, letting the Ryze through might be problematic. But now it really depends on what CJ does, and they're gonna go for the Victor ban.
Yeah, GBM would have no problem just scooping that up in the first round of the draft.
Ambition does play Nidalee, though.
It's true. Ambition does play Nidalee, but is Ambition going to first pick Nidalee? That's my question.
I feel like you're forced to in this.
There's Alistar still available. So it's a tough decision.
They're really thinking about this one.
You have to imagine that Chaser's going to take Nidalee.
Well, there's just so many good picks, at least for this specific matchup. You have the Alistar, you have the Ryze still up, you have, this is still 5.11 guys. Like, Ryze is still strong as ever.
Yes.
Once he gets rolling, and if Helper's that kind of a...
But, this could be such a bait. So here's what I'm thinking. You ready?
Yeah.
If they take the Ryze, I think you take not the Ryze. Take the Rumble. Because if they take Ryze, what Jin Air can do is respond with Maokai Nidalee and just kill Ryze over and over and over again in the laning phase. Really dangerous combination to give up. And I feel like if CJ takes his Ryze, they're getting baited.
And they're going to take it. Oh, no.
Sivir. Okay.
Another first pick worthy champion these days.
Yeah.
But now... Then you have the problem of Jin Air getting Ryze and Nidalee, right? If that as a possibility.
But with Jin Air, I don't think they're going to take the Ryze because they don't focus enough farm onto Trace to really make that Ryze good. If we think about why Trace picks Rumble and Maokai, it's because he does well with them with relatively low amounts of farm. You don't see a lot of resources going Trace's way on this team. It gets all taken by Captain Jack.
Yeah.
So I'd go for champions that have less reliance on items, and I think that's why the Ryze is just not so good if you're going to be Jin Air.
So then maybe the Nautilus flex pick here for Jin Air. Look, Nautilus and Cassiopeia. So we'll see if they lock this in.
So where's Coco going to go now? Ever since the Jace buffs landed, we haven't seen the Jace come out of Coco, and we know that it's a flex pick because Helper plays it a lot in solo queue.
So I'm of two minds of that of the Jace changes. It definitely was a buff to his late game, but in his mid game, it's still like he hits a bit of a trough in the mid game because of the way they adjusted his numbers.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not comfortable on it yet with those changes, but they're gonna lock in Rumble and Evelynn.
So no Rek'Sai with the Tremor Sense to deal with the Evelynn.
I would love to see a Skarner. Oh, they're doing it. GBM, he's just trolling Cloud Templar.
The old Templar troll.
Now he just needs to hover. Oh, Zinjan? He should hover a Moo if he really wants to troll. Think about it, you have two former CJ players on Jin Air within Captain Jack and GBM.
Yes, you do. Their revenge was quite sweet. Last time these teams went head-to-head. So, are they really going to save the jungle pick until last? Could go for the Shen. I think you take Maokai and just take Maokai Corki here, or Corki Nidalee, and then take Maokai in the last part of the draft. Okay, Maokai. Okay. So they're saving the Nidalee pick. So we are going to see that Maokai. I think what again, the Maokai Nidalee combination is strong against Rumbles also. Get those kills if he does gank for Trace.
Now, is Coco going to make a return onto this Echo? He played it once. He didn't win with it.
But he was good on it.
He was good on it.
It wasn't. That was not him. And in fact, he played it in the match against Janair.
Yeah.
But that was a problem with his top lane and his jungle not flanking. And that's what gives me pause here. They played Evelynn in Game 1 against Janair. Ambition never got a flank. Ever. They were able to kite so easily, Janair. And if they take this rise, the Nidalee is definitely going to be coming in.
Well,
could be that mid lane rise, of course. Faker played it.
Be the Faker special. But it seems likely at this point. And it will be the rise in Alistar.
So Alistar falling surprisingly far down the draft. And you get a strong lane, so...
Well, I'm not too opposed to this Rise pick because Rise is just so easy to gank for, right? He has that Rune Prison, he has that Snap, and you have Evelynn who does a lot of early game damage, right? So if you can get the right angle to go in on this Cassiopeia and just really mess her up.
I don't know. I don't think I'd take the 2v2 against Nidalee Cassiopeia if I'm Evelynn Rise. I think that is a pretty dangerous proposition to make in terms of the early game. It can be turned around on you so easily with a Nidalee Spear. So I think it's a bit dangerous. Chaser should be playing the top side of the map. I'm curious if CJ is going to lane swap because that could actually solve a lot of their problems. Helper, this is definitely a trial by fire in his first professional game to go up against a Maokai Nidalee lane as Rumble. He is going to have to be on point in terms of his wave control to make sure that he doesn't get pushed up because that is one of the easiest lanes to gank in the history of League of Legends.
I mean, this could also be a pick on the new guy kind of thing here, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's risky. We'll see how it actually ends up going.
I mean, I really like CJ's team fighting though. Like if they get a good if Ambition can actually flank on Evelynn, then they'll have a pretty good team fight. They have a lot of good AoE. They have good mobility.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I thought last time these two teams played, Barry. But the execution just wasn't there. Maybe it'll be there tonight. CJ versus Janair, Game 1, let's go. Get it together, Janair fans.
You need to be louder than that if you want to hang in the fan clubs.
All right, so CJ going with the Rise mid. Definitely not a bad pickup here, and at least they have Mad Life on Alistar, so they're not entirely reliant on Ambition to engage. Mad Life can provide that for the team. Janair running a solid composition, I feel. They have a very smooth power curve. Of course, Corki in the early game with Cassiopeia and Maokai coming online just a little bit later. So they're not going to be in too much trouble. Same thing with CJ, though. You've got that Rumble for the early game, and you're just kind of transitioning into the Rise. So both these team compositions are nicely balanced. The question comes down to execution and a dangerous laning phase. Chaser, again, 2 weeks ago, absolutely wrecked CJ.
Yeah.
On this champion that they let him have again. So can he do something with it? They definitely wanted him to play it. They waited in the draft until the last pick to grab their jungler. A bit unorthodox, but you can say Chaser is the team that this team revolves around. This entire season, he has been at #1 kill contribution at 81.2%. He is everywhere on this map.
Pretty good. I mean, looks like Janair is trying to call the lane swap, I think, to some degree. But, or maybe they're the ones initiating it. Who knows?
Well, I think they want the lane swap here because I wouldn't want a 1v1 with that Maokai. That looks like a delicious hamburger.
Yum yum. Well, so we got Freeze going. It's going to push back in towards the side of Janair.
Yep, and now we're going to see Mad Life walking up. In contrast to our last game, this is why you started a buff when you are jungling on your weak side, because then you do not get disrupted quite as easily.
Well, a lot of movement on the map. I see Che in the blue side jungle. Kind of, oh god.
Oh, he's fine. He's going to see Ambition right here. He's going to hide. Chaser's come. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that wasn't an oh god for Jin Air. That was an oh god for CJ.
Yeah, Che only level 1, though. He's only got that E, but there we
Oh,
go. There's
dear.
the stun Ambition. Ooh, they're not going to follow that up, but Chaser is going to steal the blue buff and just hop his way to
Corky's
potential
coming down.
safety. Corky's here, and they went in on the weak side. That is problematic. Madlife going to save the day, but ooh, they take a lot of damage. They lose their blue buff. Madlife with a good recall timing just to make that work, but dangerous play to keep contesting against a Nautilus. Even though Nautilus was only level 1,
Yeah.
still has 2 forms of CC at level 1.
I mean, this is something I've been seeing with CJ. You know, it raises some questions. What's going on with their level 1s? They're being aggressed on every time. Or do they just not have the right wards? Are they not like expecting the right moves to be made? Or are they just letting? It seems like they're just allowing teams to walk over them with their level 1 strategies.
Yeah, and you saw it right there. I mean, it was a good play from Che to get in and be patient. Now, the freeze is going to be broken as a result because Madlife gets into the top side to help out before Che can heal up and return. Of course, Madlife at 100% HP. After that, Chaser using the old leash mechanics. Chaser, I don't know if he can do this.
Leisha is only 3 times range champion now, but he got it.
He got it.
He knows his limits.
He definitely does. So pink ward goes in for Che after he returns into the top. And this is a helper that is overextended, but he knows he can just wait for the wave to go back his direction.
Right.
Oh, actually not. It's going to freeze closer to Jin Air's turret. So that wasn't broken as well as it could have been. So he's going to be actually zoned out for quite a while right now. Che going to decide to recall, potentially.
Recalls all around, even GBM going back after Coco.
Yeah, but both these champions going for early tiers, so I want to get that right in the 4 to 5 minute range. They can start stacking immediately. As you can see, there's our carry rating for the jungle. There's Chaser's league-leading kill assist percentage. Ambition here, he might try and take this. Oh, he gets seen. So Ambition is actually going to get the grab. Chaser backing off. Hurls a spear that doesn't find its mark.
Slow early game.
Slow early game, but 3 buffs for Jin Air early.
So Helper's going to pick up this big wave. Level 2 to level 4, now level 3. Surely he'll hit level 4 fairly soon.
Yeah, large wave crashing into the turret. Same thing going to happen in the bottom side with Maokai. Chaser and Che down just to make sure that there's not going to be any dives or shenanigans happening on that side of the map. And so...
Mid lane very even.
Yeah, Trace getting a lot more of that farm so far. So starting out, pulling away with a really nice CS advantage and a level advantage to go with it.
So what team composition here do you like better? If they go into more mid-game, like 5v5s,
well,
who would you give it to?
I think GBM is just going to come online faster as the Cassiopeia. You can't ignore the rise in the late game, but it's just a matter of getting there. And again, I think both these compositions are pretty equal. I mean, we've got 2 junglers. They're going to fall off as the game progresses in terms of their effectiveness. On the one side, you have one that's better at kiting, the other one that's better at engaging with Evelynn. But I think I'd tip it maybe slightly to Jin Air.
Okay.
Because oh, nice boomerang blade. You're measuring it at that point in terms of whether Captain Jack falling off is worse than Rumble falling off. But Maokai is just so strong in this meta. Nice job by Ambition. Second crab stolen.
Now, is he looking for a fight? Good damage.
GBM just playing back in the wave right now.
I wonder if it would have been worth it for Coco to go in for the big chain snares, because you know Chaser had been chased out.
Yeah, maybe if he really wanted to flash, but again, it's just movement summoners from
right, and he also has
Coco
cleanse.
this game. So may not have been the safest choice, even if it was very bold and aggressive. And Chaser actually going for a tier before his Magus enchant.
He likes to do this, I think.
Yeah, there's been I think it depends on the situation. Some junglers, we used to see Eve go tier before even getting like a Trailblazer or something like that, just machete straight into tier, and that results in about a fully stacked tier by 18 minutes. This build will be a couple minutes later, obviously, maybe like 20, 21 minutes. So just starting to stack, and this means that Chaser's going to hit a power spike with the Magus enchant and the Seraph's Embrace faster.
We'll see if Coco is able to get his blue buff. Because Jin Air already has the exact timer on that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, I think. An invade at this stage may be a bit overbold because remember, Ambition actually has combat stats in the form of those two longswords. So unless they get some really nice poke, and they don't have the Death Ray this time to couple with the Nidalee Spear, this time they have to use that Cassiopeia, who's a little bit closer range compared to the last match we saw between these two teams.
So Jin Air starting to invest a little bit more into the top side of the map.
Yeah, it was tough when they lost that Scuttle Crab in top because that really gives Helper an advantage because he has to be able to push up.
It looks like they might try to contest this blue. No, he's got it.
They're just taking a look, seeing if maybe there was a chance that something could get done, but a little bit too risky there, especially since the Equalizer exists for Helper to use. See, Trace has already gone back, picked up the Catalyst, and then returned to the turret, but he's not able to clear out the wave very quickly. Helper also still has TP. That is a major factor. Helper's been playing very defensively, so he hasn't been poked out, hasn't had to go back to base yet.
That Doran Shield has been doing work for him, too, in terms of the regen that it gives. And
Jack actually is going to Valk out right there. Equalizer comes in, flash off the Equalizer, no follow-up. Ambition used the Agony's Embrace, but couldn't lock down the kill. Really hard to get a kill in that lane.
Yeah. But 2 ults for a flash, not terrible, especially if you know Dragon's not in trouble, so.
Yeah. Don't have to play that side of the map. And that'll mean Corki goes home and we return to standard lanes. What can Trace do against Helper at the top side? Helper is going to recall after pushing up the wave and pick up some items. So everyone's starting to recall right now as the lane swaps come through. Jin Air actually has a dragon timing here if they want it.
Yeah.
Coco does a really good job of pushing the wave, though, to prevent that from going down. But Nidalee does a lot of dragon damage in the game, and they just came back to lane with a Sheen Corki. They could have maybe snuck that one. A bit risky because Helper has TP, but
now they're looking for a pick onto Mad Life or Coco, whoever comes first.
So basically, they think they're doing dragon right now because Corki just walked into the river. So they tried to bait that a little bit.
But they have eyes on Chaser, so.
Yeah. Yeah, they're picking him furiously at the moment. They still had a ward about to time out of that brush. So that may have worked as Corki disappeared from the bottom lane. If Chaser had not been seen, they may have been, oops, right in the wall. But they may have been forced to face check that, and Shay could have potentially gotten a pick.
Equalizer and TP back up. Meanwhile, Trace's TP is still down for a little bit longer. I would reckon another 20 seconds.
Yeah, and they just haven't used this TP advantage at all. Trace in the top side now with the favorable trades just by a little bit. And here comes Chaser. There's the twisted advance after the flash. Flash, spear, goodbye, Helper. And that is the danger right there of being a rumble or a rise against the Maokai and the Nidalee. Confidence from Chaser, flashing for the spear and then closing the gap with the pounce.
Well played. Well played indeed. And Ambition just wasn't in position to take a return, take a dragon in return, so he's just going to go cover for the top lane. Unfortunate.
Yep, and he has to show on that top side. And there's the Scuttle Crab in favor of Jin Air. Again, They don't really need the Scuttle Crab themselves against Evelynn, but it is very important if they want to follow up kills that they take the Scuttle Crab away to free up Chaser. That's like the weird thing about Crabs with Evelynn, is that they're more denial than they are anything else.
We see a 10 CS lead for Gank My Mom in the mid lane over Coco.
Yeah, is that enough though? Coco's getting a lot of free farm.
Yeah, he's gonna have the Rod of Ages real soon too.
Yeah, that is it's gonna be a pretty nice rod, considering that he hasn't been harassed too much or slowed down in terms of his farming. Chaser really hasn't done much in the mid lane, or even kind of denied vision all that effectively. Ambition wants the blue buff right now. Nice kill on the turret. Chaser's coming into the bottom side, and the depth charge going to knock Space up at the end. Space has no mana. There's the hook. Mad Life with the ultimate. They're going to try and turn it. Ambition's there. Rise is coming, so Jin Air backs off.
Well, a whole lot of skills traded with no kills.
Skills with no kills.
Oh, man.
That sounds like Korean League of Legends in a nutshell.
The skills that don't kill. Ambition looking for a Smite steal, but is zoned out inadvertently by Che.
The inadvertent zoning. Yeah, Trace just building tanky. Actually gets Cowl before he's going to complete the glory.
I think he wants to be able to 1v1 the Rumble consistently, so.
Must be it. Jin Air saying that they don't want a team fight. Really late first Dragon in this game. Yeah. No one wanting to commit to it. And it makes sense. I mean, we've got tiers on both sides of the mid lane and a stacking Rod of Ages. The longer that this goes without Jin Air actually putting pressure on a Dragon, as soon as, especially after that, especially after that Abyssal Scepter is completed for GBM, the better it's going to be for CJ. Yeah. Because that's going to really slow Jin Air down, make it harder for them to actually close out this game. CJ also has plenty of wards in the bottom side jungle.
Yeah, and Helper put down his ward just to make sure that he won't suffer another repeat gank.
Still risky.
Yeah.
Still risky. There's that possibility of a lane gank. I mean, when you're playing against a Rumble, you just have so many options to come in and gank as a jungler. It's easy to come in through the lane as long as your top lane has CC, and then follow that up. And Helper would have to spend a lot of money, really, to kind of ward in all the various dangerous places that he could. Still, that turret advantage goes over to CJ right now. The first blood and some additional farm, especially on that top lane where the farm gap is dramatically increasing.
Yeah, this Maokai is going to be terrifying in the late game. So, I don't know. Is this the sacrifice you want to make to get your Rise, to get your Rise into that later game status? You'd let the Maokai get into it. So
the positive for CJ is an Aegis is going to do so much work against Jin Air.
True.
They're literally all magic damage except for Corki's autos. And Corki doesn't get usually that many autos off in a game of League of Legends. So any MR stacking late is going to be immensely beneficial to CJ.
We'll see if Ambition breaks his stubborn streak and actually builds it.
Yeah. If he goes Randuin's first this game, I might be upset.
Glacial Shroud.
Please no.
Frozen Heart.
Nope.
Against all the auto attackers.
You definitely don't build Frozen Heart on Evelynn. That is a terrible idea, Barry. Get into the back line and use the Randuins. Lock them up even longer.
It's not me that's doing it. It's Ambition right now.
Oh, man.
Why the Glacial Shroud? Like, mind blown right here. Maybe he wants to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, which is still not a great buy.
I'm done here, Barry.
You're done?
I quit.
Well, meanwhile, we'll have the noodle fights here.
You're just gonna solo cast now.
Oh man, the joys. They don't really be Choba 2.0.
I have no idea why you would build a Frozen Heart in this situation.
Maybe he just wants the CDR and wants a little bit of armor and some of the mana to sustain, have longer team fights.
He doesn't need any armor.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm just grasping at straws here.
I can tell. I can tell. So much more efficient for him to have like a Ruby Crystal and a Null Magic Mantle at the current time, getting that. Wow, actually CJ
wow.
going to go for the Dragon. They haven't pushed up, so not a bad call from CJ. No vision. That's going to be Dragon number 1 to CJ Entus.
Well done.
Yeah, good pressure on the bottom side. They've used this bottom lane matchup and the tower that they were able to get early. Now, Helper just going to get out of dodge right now, smartly just sacrificing his farm. And Jin Air is just going to try and trade a turret for it. They're going to get it.
He doesn't even sacrifice that much farm for it, too, with that equalizer. So,
yep.
Well played.
Yeah, very nice conservative play there from Helper, making sure that even though he continues to get denied just a tad in this top side, he's Rumble. It's not going to matter for another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. I just realized we're watching the games. We're watching a game between two of the teams that are known for their passive or like more passive play style.
Yes.
I just realized.
Jin Air in particular is a team that, well, Chaser does a lot of ganking early a lot of the time. That's one of the reasons why he has such a high kill participation. But
they do like to go for the later game kind of like
Jin Air also loves kiting.
Yeah.
Loves kiting.
They're good at it too.
Yeah, they're very good. All right, Jack has pushed up the wave. That sacrificed the Dragon. So when all is said and done and the dust settles, Jin Air actually trades that Dragon for 2 towers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a free tower. I think they could have maybe like put up a fight for it.
Helper should have recalled much earlier. He should have just dropped his equalizer, let them take the tower, and then gone to defend the wave. Or possibly not even use the equalizer and then used it
for the bottom wave?
For the bottom wave on the turret. That actually is a bit of a misplay from Helper. He let them get way too much for this.
Well, if CJ can get the tower here.
I don't know if they can. No, and I don't know if they can save their tier 2 if they trade it.
Well, Helper's equalizer is back up really soon, so they'll at least have some time. And Rise is coming down to shore up that push.
They're going to go for this, actually, just using the ultimate from Rise to clear out. GBM's going to get some free time. He actually didn't have to
roam down.
He should have just put pressure on the tower. So some macro misplays, I think, from both sides.
Well, when all the dust settles, it's a 2K gold lead for Jin Air Green Wings.
Yeah, they're going to take the red buff, try and deny as much as they can while they have this control.
So, what is up with Ambition's build?
I don't know. I don't know anymore, Barry. I give up on Ambition's builds.
Watch him just go for the Warmog, like the Glacial Shroud into the Warmog's Rush right here.
No. No, Barry. I forbid it.
You forbid it? You should get in that booth. Tell him, I can't stand for this. All right, Coco gets the blue buff, as he rightly should. Right of all mid laners. The blue buff and the pursuit of happiness.
Is that what's written in the mid laner constitution?
Yes. When they won their freedom from the jungle.
You know, it was really the jungle winning its freedom for the mid laners. The oppressive mid laners in Season 2 that were always wandering in and taking your camps.
Yeah, and we still occasionally see that these days as well.
It hurts me so much, Barry.
Oh, man. So if the regions of Summer's Rift were like countries in the world, the jungle would be the US of A, because they have the most freedom to move around. They were liberated. They were
liberated
from the empire of the mid lane.
Who also likes to roam. It's a very imperialistic, so they're like Britain, you know, back in the day. They like to imperialize the jungle and other lanes.
And then, meanwhile, I guess, I don't know, what would top lane be? France? Because they always just concede their farm and run away from the turrets?
That's right. They have to play very, very passively.
Ooh.
Well, way to insult all the French people. Fortunately, they're watching the French stream of Champions, Barry.
On
so
gaming,
you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Well, nothing happened during that time.
Nope, they're trying to use Corki right now with his Trinity Force.
So we have the Righteous Glory online from Maokai. We have
Seraph's done. I mean, Jin Air's in a good place to fight, for sure.
Yeah, and looks like Ambition is actually going, possibly, fingers crossed, for that Aegis of Legion.
I really hope he is. You know what else that could be is a Spirit Visage.
Yeah,
so.
or a Banshee's Veil.
Yep. Well, Seraph's is done now. 22 minutes for Coco. Nice, quick stack on that. GBM going for the Rylai's. I'm getting worried. You know why I'm getting worried?
Why?
There's not a lot of damage here from Janair. It looks like Jack is going for a Bloodthirster as his next item, which is okay because there's not a mega tank on CJ yet where he really needs the Blade of the Ruined King to chew through. But in the late game, once Evelynn and Ryze get tankier, that could be a problem, but it won't be quite yet. Instead, it's going to be pretty safe.
Not to mention the Alistar that's going to be in his face with the Unbreakable Will as well.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But this is this is such a Jin Air way to play this composition.
Yeah.
Use GBM to get big slow fields, kite out the game, have Captain Jack be very safe in the back line with a lot of lifesteal tanking and a big shield on him from the Bloodthirster. But it's about the execution, and CJ has the priority placement around this dragon at the moment.
So we'll see if a big fight breaks out within the next minute or so, because Dragon will be up in 10 seconds. Trace looking for maybe a flank, putting himself in position.
Trace is pretty scary right now, actually.
Yeah. He's got some armor.
Helper's not here. There's just a poke, and they're going to go for it. Trace pops the glory, finds Ambition immediately. There is the depth charge on Ambition, knocking him everybody up. Mad Life in the middle with the Unbreakable Will. Punts. They support Jade back into the enemy team. Helper with the TP. Helper coming through. Chaser low. Helper overextends. Trace with the peel. And that is the threat that Jin Air has. You go into the team like that, that's what they want.
That was not the best equalizer.
Yeah.
It looked like it may have been a decent one as Jin Air kind of funneled into that choke. But I think it would have been better placed by just cutting off that choke.
Yeah, and if your Helper, flashing into that just plays into Jin Air's hands, because after you flash, you've committed in the middle of them, and you are not going to catch up as Rumble when there is a Cassiopeia spamming Rylai's Twin Fangs on your face.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, and it's a quirk of itemization here. Normally, that would be okay to do, right? Because you're going to get that damage down, but he also just wasn't there with the backup from the rest of your team. And GBM doing a little bit of a quirky build here, I think may have baited CJ to overcommitting, and that results in a dragon for Jin Air.
Yeah, and looking at Helper's build, it's a little more aggressive. It's a little more aggressive build than we see than usual from most Rumbles.
But it's a really good build here. You say it's aggressive, but all he needs is MR.
Yeah, true.
So it actually is probably the most efficient build he could go against this composition.
No doubt. We'll see if he decides to go into that Zhonya's next, which I think he needs if he's going to make those flash plays like that.
Yeah, if he had his Zhonya's, it would have been quite different. And Jin Air doing Jin Air things. And what I mean by that is it's 25 minutes into this game, and there are 4 upgraded ward totems.
Yeah.
This is how Jin Air is the only team that does this, in Korea at least. The only team I know of in the world that prioritizes ward totems so heavily. Part of it, and they do this even when they have a Sightstone on the jungler. They basically just spam so many wards that you have zero hope of clearing them all out. And because they don't need to switch, the way they play the game is that it doesn't matter if you see what they're doing, because they are always on the objective first. They come to, and they get the position on the dragon, and it doesn't matter if you see them, because they're so good at kiting that if you engage, they still win the fight.
Yeah.
So it really plays in very nicely with Jin Air's playstyle. I'm not sure if it would work for other teams, but they've really figured out something that is unique to them and how they like to play the game.
Yeah, and just vision in general is just so key for just all sorts of compositions anyway. So having this large amount of warding totems, even if they weren't, you know, a big kiting comp, I think it's still very valuable.
Sure, yeah. And let's see, CJ, they want to put the pressure on the mid lane. They have a pretty short-range siege here with Ryze and Sivir. Yeah, they get a Chaser nowhere near. And Trace deciding not to TP in. He actually had some good opportunities for a flank, but without Chaser, not going to pull it off.
So I think the big thing here is how well is Helper going to kind of focus. If Helper can just, you know, if he can focus and buckle down, then I think he'll be able to, you know, make the right equalize, make the right plays that sets CJ up for the right team fights. But if he's just going to whiff his equalizer and just flash into the middle of everyone, then we'll see. I think that's going to be the big deciding point of this in this game, at least.
Yeah, and he can be that primary engage with the equalizer, but the way it has to go is if he lands the equalizer Ambition and Mad Life have to be in the front line, and he follows up. It can change, like you said earlier, once he gets the Zonias, which will be his next item. But going in deep early is not going to be a fruitful way to play Rumble into what Jin Air has, because you cannot win walking forward while they have the Rylai's.
What do you think about a Rylai's on Rumble in this game?
Yeah, fine, good.
Yeah. It would help him chase. It would reduce their kiting.
As the game goes on, he doesn't need damage because Rise is going to be outputting most of the damage. So you really just want to be tanky, and that slow would be excellent to have Rise follow up with the Sivir ult. I think that it would be a really good late game buy.
Well, we're back to Farm Wars.
Yes, we are. But Chaser's here. Ambition.
Chaser
sees all.
And he steals it away. That microtransaction was unsuccessful in this game of Farmville here.
Yeah, this game of Farmville, well, I'm sure. Who makes Farmville?
I don't know. Was it Zynga?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Zynga, I don't know, whatever.
Some come.
Oh, there's the flash, twisted advance. Coco looks like he might escape temporarily. Chaser gets the follow-up pounce after hitting him with another spear. Chaser deep under the turret pops his Seraphs. Equalizer is dropped, but it is a stinker of an equalizer, and that means that Space also falls. Helper.
Is this a Baron?
Not helping this game with these equalizers.
No, he is helping. He's helping the other team.
I'm Helper and I'm helping.
It would be only better if he was playing Jarvan this game.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
That was a great engage from Trace and Chaser.
It was great.
Look at how big the heals from Chaser are at this point in the game. He's got so much AP, very decisive Baron taken by Jin Air. I mean, this is 29 minutes into this game. There are only 5 kills, but Jin Air gets their first Baron. This is where Jin Air is strong, when they can control. Look at this. They're just coming in off the twisted advance. Che just chaining it straight into a dredge line and then a depth charge and coming through. Now they have Chaser under the turret, but he's not tanking it critically. Trace is, and he gets out from the side. And did that equal? I don't even know what that equalizer was supposed to do.
You know what Twitch chat would have said right then?
What?
NA equalizer right there. That's what it would be spammed right along right there.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. If only we could see into the glory of Twitch chat at the moment.
Oh, man. I think there was a guy holding up a Kappa sign around here somewhere. You can ask him. But yeah, they're going to press their advantage. As well as they should.
Yeah, and I mean, the outer turret goes down at 30 minutes after a Baron. The amount of gold, because of how many turrets are still up, that Jin Air is going to be able to get during this Baron is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you get into this point of the game where it's been a little bit of a back and forth and teams haven't been able to siege, when you get that Baron, you get the gold swing, and then with all the easy turrets in the outer ring and then some of these tier 2s going down, the change in economy is massive.
And the Dragon's up too, so once they get this, they can just move over to Dragon, get the second
huge
one.
Baron. 2 turrets already. 2 kills, 2 turrets, a Baron, and now a Dragon. Jin Air is sitting pretty.
Very good for the Jin Air Green Wings, and yeah. And GBM, I think he's gonna go for the Liandry's Torment here to double down on his slow burn of the CJA team.
I mean, we know GBM has some wacky builds at times. This one's a little bit weird, but I agree with the Rylai's. I think Rylai's is very strong.
The Rylai's is great. The Liandry's Tournament before finishing his...
the Seraphs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. We'll see if he actually goes to Liandry's or if he finishes the Seraphs, but...
I'm not that opposed to Liandry's Tournament if they're trying to run that kite comp that you were talking about, because it just dissuades them from just constantly chasing them if they're eating, you know, Cassiopeia like poisons in the face. But
Chaser, just these spear damage that he manages to get. I mean, sure, he's been farming up the storm this game. He has a lot of mana.
That tower shield is helping a lot though for CJ, thankfully.
Wasn't really helping Ambition earlier. They're trying desperately to defend this. Jin Air trying to take their 3rd turret off of this Baron. Looks like they're
going to back off.
That's smart. They have a mountain of gold right now to spend.
It's right about to wear off. So they get the Empowered Recall, one last one, and then now it's gone.
Very, very good coordination from Jin Air around this around this Baron.
Such a smart team.
Yeah, that is definitely true. The question is, can Jin Air stay on form this season? Because last season they started out strong, and then they took a pretty drastic nosedive.
It was such a huge meta shift too.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
Chaser looks more comfortable in this meta though than he did towards the end of last season. And I still have questions about Jin Air and Trace, and what happens if they don't get Rumble or Maokai.
Yeah.
These questions have not been answered. I'm not sure why they haven't been answered. Why don't teams just force him to play something else? Because it's pretty obvious that he's going to pick one of those two champions.
Too many pocket bans that you have to take into consideration, I guess. Between the Chasers in Italy, then you have,
Annie
Che,
against Che.
Annie, yeah.
Yeah, it does become problematic, I agree. So now they just force all the waves in. They can probably just face tank this bottom turret.
There they go.
They're going to.
The support face tanks that even.
Well, he's got the Titan's Wrath shield, and there's such a small amount of HP on this. And they also have the heal from Che, which is doing a lot.
Yeah. We have that fully stacked here. We have a Void Staff. We have the Magus Enchant, and looks like maybe a Banshee's Veil too, so just to keep himself a little bit safer.
I'm not sure he's going to go for the Veil or if he wants actually an Age. Oh, the Age is already onto Che, so. Yeah. I am happy to see that Ambition completed his Locket before going for the Frozen Heart.
And he's still going for it regardless. I guess he just wants the lower CDR on his on the W and on the ultimate, so who knows?
The question is, where are the flanks? Again,
yeah.
I'm sitting here wondering about Ambition's Evelyn. What he has done well is he's played around Chaser. Look how many camps he's stolen. He's been smart about the way that he plays around Chaser's jungling. But when it comes to team fighting, Ambition's Evelyn just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah. With the amount of, camps that he's stolen away, he might have just have bought a poacher's knife at this rate. Yeah. Maybe it'll be the one time we see it.
The one time ever. Well, he's also been stealing away his own camps when Chaser's been in his jungle, so.
Well, bit of a lull. Lots of wards in the CJ side of the map.
Yeah, huge. Well, a huge lead. It's definitely not overcomable yet by CJ Entus, but they went for the Void Staff on Coco before getting even an Abyssal Scepter. I don't know. I mean, yes, he needs that magic penetration, but at the same time, he's not very durable.
Well,
he still has like 3,000 HP, whatever.
Yeah. Between the Seraphs, the Seraph's Embrace Shield, and on top of the Rod of Ages, he's still fairly tanky. Such delicious farm. And Baron.
Yep.
Coming up in a minute.
Just taking the crab chaser with that sorcery elixir, trying to double down on the damage, as it were.
I love that elixir. It's so much fun to have, because especially on poke champions, you get one spear, and you get that true damage, a little bit of true damage with your extra oomph on your
Oh, they're going glory. I don't know if they want to do this. They may have realized there were 5 people right there.
Ambition can't flank. I know we talk about Ambition. Oh, he's not flanking. He's not doing it right. But he just physically can't with the amount of pink wards that are on this map. You'd have to go through a lane all the way around.
Ever since last season, Jin Air has done a great job of providing flank wards. That's one of the reasons why they were so consistent in terms of these low kill games with poke or kite compositions, is because they always have 5 pink wards on the map. So does make it challenging. Ambition on a secret mission. They know he's there.
And it's gone.
Yep, that's it. There's the Righteous Glory. They're coming for the engage right now. Flash hook onto Ambition. Che going to get quite hurt right there. Good equalizer into the choke point. Overextension by Che on the flash hook, and there's not sufficient follow-up. Trace and Che didn't really look like they were on the same page.
That Rylai's is doing a decent amount of work for GDM though, because the rest of CJ just had a hard time chasing because they were slowed down. Their ankles were just grabbed by that Rylai's on the poison from Cassiopeia.
Yeah, that said, CJ going to get this next dragon. Not really. Well, they could try and make a play just with some poke and see if they can secure the objective, but they're not. They're just going to clear out the mid wave instead and set up for when Che revives because they already have all the side waves under control.
This is looking to be like a Jin Air classic where they go into the 50, 60, minute mark territory, and then we have no idea who's going to win.
No, we do have an idea who's going to win.
You think it's Jin Air?
Because Jin Air does this. They are the team that closes games that have like 5 kills in them. They did it so many times in the beginning of spring, where it would be 60 minutes, but basically if you play a poke comp like this and you never give anyone a chance to get in on you because you control the entirety of vision, you just slowly whittle down your opponent, and there's very little counterplay. We talked about Ambition, but you're absolutely right. Look how many pink boards were around that. How was he going to get in there?
Yeah.
Can't.
So what do you do if you're CJ? Like, you see Jin Air, they're going to take this turret. Jin Air likes to play these poke comps, and they ward their flanks so well.
Yep, look at that. Pink ward already in place. Here, they have the Baron empowered wave. They're going to just keep throwing in those skill shots.
So what do you do if you're CJ? Like, what type of comp do you run? Do you just run, like a 3 Righteous Glories with the Talisman Ascension?
Yeah, you take Annie yourself. You don't let them have Maokai.
Just bum rush them?
You have to just kind of bum rush them. They have Sivir and Alistar. I mean, they can still sort of do it.
Well, yeah, this Evelyn pick may not have been the best.
Oh,
and left try.
Oh, that really hurts. Missing that. Very damaging. And there we go.
That's probably
the tank the turret right there. Are they going to come in for the engage? Trace caught out a little bit. Has to W to a minion.
Good defense, actually.
Yeah, decent defense for sure. They held onto that turret, but I mean, Chaser's heals are huge right now.
Oh yeah.
So Trace already nearly back up there, and combined with this passive, not really a whole lot done. Now they get the tower. Very methodical, moving forward. CJ not committing to that engage yet. They're not going to either. They let the inhibitor fall, and that's it.
There they go.
I'm the only one who likes Jin Air when they play like this. I'm pretty sure I am the only person on Earth who enjoys Jin Air's crazy, long poke games. I enjoy it because they're so methodical and they're so precise that, to me, I find it very interesting from a macro perspective how little opportunity an enemy has to get back into the game.
As if I was a professional player, I would hate playing like this, even if we got all the wins in the world, because this is just so stressful if you're a pro player. Just think about it.
And you walk a very fine line, too, because if you get caught out, it's very punishing.
Yeah.
But this composition is more difficult to get caught out with because you do have the big tank line of Maokai and Nautilus.
Yeah. I'm just a huge fan of Nautilus as a champion, whether he goes support, jungle, or top lane, because that E is just so spammable, and it just creates this huge slow zone that's just not readily appreciable sometimes. And when you just look at a comp, and it just creates such a nice zone. So, personally, huge fan of the pick.
Do you like zoners?
I love zoners. That's why I love playing Orianna,
I was
Ziggs.
going to say you like Orianna.
Yeah, I love playing Orianna, Ziggs, all these zone-type champions.
How about Anivia? You like getting
people
at the wall?
I love Anivia. I love any champion that has some sort of wall. Braum, Yasuo, I love all those champions. It just makes you feel so smart when you get a good one. And you know me.
Yes, I know. I know that you like deception.
I know. And dang.
All right.
Well, big bottom wave pushing in.
Are you ready? Baron number 3, Barry.
My body is so ready.
So they're just pushing up a bit. They actually want to go top because they have that side wave developing. Helper bottled up, trying to deal with these super minions.
And another 1,000 gold for their team, so
winning. I like how GBM doesn't even have a Void Staff yet.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
Well, it's crazy, though, because CJ should be stacking a lot of this MR against this composition. And the fact that he doesn't need it because he is basically just a zone control Cassiopeia.
Chaser just does half of Space's health.
Yep. That's the thing. Who is actually carrying this team? Chaser is kind of doing more damage than GBM this game. GBM is just there to look scary, Snake Lady, and play utility.
Yeah. Create the nice zones.
Well, that's not doing too much, but Ambition also has MR, so.
Well, see.
There we go. Bad Life goes, well, that only hit Jack, so
Yeah.
not going to get much.
Well, Ambitions was trying to look for a flank, then saw the pink ward, then backed off.
Yeah, look at that. 2 pink ward, 3 pink ward. There is nowhere for Ambition to go. He would have to walk around the river and back down the lane in order, well, he could come through and go through Tri-Brush.
Yeah.
But you can see, he has to spend like 20 seconds walking around the map just to not be seen.
But if you manage to do that and you get the sweet, sweet flank, you deserve that flank. You deserve it.
Wow.
Mission impossible for Ambition right there.
You mean Ambition impossible?
Oh, man. It is quite the impossible ambition right now, so.
Okay.
Well, bottom inhibitor about to come up soon.
Not soon enough for this extra
God.
Baron and Dragon. Janeer hasn't had the best Dragon control, so they may just try and give this one up. Having a third Dragon is kind of irrelevant right now, especially when it's coming up at the same time as the Baron.
Trace has so much MR.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Gonna get that Frozen Heart soon, too.
Oh.
Oh, hook
Dodge
misses.
everything.
Mad Life goes in, and he gets the knockup, but that's about it. Trace going to pop his Righteous Glory. Everybody's slowed down pretty massively right now. Nothing really too committal about either engagement. And CJ just wants to push Mad Life flash forward for that, but how much is he going to get? Trace is there in the front line. He is so tanky, but he does die. The damage coming in from CJ. Janeer has to run. They can't really do this. Coco dodges the ultimate from Cassiopeia. Bad Life comes in for another combo, so they get one. And that is a long cooldown, but all the poke is still there for Janeer.
But they can get position on the Dragon or on the Baron.
Yeah, they
And they could probably do it with Trace down, because they can just turn on a dime back onto...
I don't know. Helper still has Equalizer. That's going to be quite useful if he can land a good one, but they still 40 seconds.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, they have to deal with this. Unfortunately, the Super Minion has made it to the inhibitor to knock it down one more time.
And are they just going to give up this Baron?
Well, they have to, because otherwise they're going to get... Uh-oh, okay, so they're clearing out wards. They don't see Ambition recalling. How low is that inhibitor right now?
Almost
it's
down.
dead. It's dead. That's it. So inhibitor lost
Boom.
again. Ambition can't get there in time.
And Trace's death timer was super long, too.
Well, Janeer stalls it out. Now they delayed the recalls there for the inhibitor. And maybe CJ should have just gone for it.
They're going to send... Yeah, they're going to send Helper there.
Yeah, Helper has the TP. Trace is here.
But he's got a home guard TP
Oh,
ready.
they lost a Nexus turret. Again, Captain Jack has no... Well, he has the Infinity Edge now, so at least he has some damage. That's actually better than Blade against the team that CJ has assembled.
If he's close enough to use Blade on a Rise, he's probably going to be dead anyway, so...
Spear just barely out of range. Well, this game can still really go either way. One fight will end this one, depending on who gets the better engage. Mad Life showed up with it, but he wasn't able to hit quite enough people, and Trace is still weak when it comes to Sivir auto attacks. He only has the Glacial Shroud.
Yep.
So against Sivir, who has like the Blade and the Infinity Edge and the Last Whisper, Sivir can definitely kill Maokai pretty fast.
CJ gets the Dragon. They delay the 5 Dragon timer.
Looking for the pick. Who's going to come here? Maokai's coming in on a Mad Life there. The hook looks like it misses right there from Jay. Mad Life getting low, but he gets the big pulverize. Can he follow up? Chaser from the side, starting to poke with the spear. But again, Janeer doesn't have a lot of damage anymore. There's the hook onto Helper. They're going to zone him out. He's going to knock him down. Petrifying Gaze hits him, but he flashes in the last second. Coco in the front. Coco dead. And that should be a Janeer. Can they take a Baron now off of the kill onto Coco? Helper couldn't get the Zonias down because he was chain CC'd. GBM hit the right ultimate.
Oh, no. Well,
TP coming back in. Trace has home guards. There he is, zooming along into the bottom lane. Who can he get? Can he see Ambition? He does see Ambition. He can W. No, he can't. Decides not to follow that one up.
Waves aren't in Janeer's favor, so
well,
see what they have to do.
Yeah, they have to back off. They can just go for the Baron.
This is going to be...
They have to defend against the super minions. There's one turret left, and Helper has no TP.
This is Baron pick take 4.
That's right. So
they're actually going to do it.
Yeah, they can do it. They can do it fast. So Cassiopeia going to be a little bit of a savior here as another Baron goes to the Jin Air Green Wings. Can they finally finish this game?
We shall see, Monte Cristo. We shall see.
We shall see. Damage threat still huge from CJ.
And GBM just finishes Leandri's Torment. So he'll be shredding through.
That's actually a huge finish in terms of their damage output, because that the Void Staff and the Leandri is being finished for GBM, actually.
He just has so much armor, magic penetration right now, so... Yeah, and I think he has every form of magic penetration possible right now in terms of item buys.
Yeah, he does, actually. Interesting.
Meanwhile, we have Rabadon's Death Cap on Chaser.
I love Chaser's diddly.
I'm surprised to see this over the Luden's Echo, to be honest.
He's a 6-item Nidalee right now. I think he just wants the single target damage, just a single target poke.
And maybe the utility with the heal as well.
Yeah, that is definitely quite helpful.
Oh, he accidentally popped his Seraph's Embrace right now.
Ooh.
He accidentally popped it, I think.
That would be pretty, yeah, he did actually. Yep. He did. GBM did.
Oh, GBM did, okay.
So not committing to this. They're still worried about that Alistar on the engage. And Chaser will be the... Nobody's going to clear out the pink ward, okay. Why would you? Got better things to do.
Push up waves, go for the next siege.
Only one pink ward this time for Jin Air. They won't have that same coverage against the flank, but it looks like Avalanche is going to have to stay bottled up in the base for the time being.
Helper getting pretty close to his Void Staff as well. And then we have pretty much a 6-item Sivir right now, too.
So here we go. Siege once again. Coco gonna need a spear, but
he just heals it back up.
Yep, just instantly taking that out. But there's only one. Ambition is there. So are they gonna go for it? Trace just righteous glorying forward. They have so much damage onto the tower. Another inhibitor going to go down. Jin Air cracks the base because the Nexus turret went down earlier. The Winions doing work for Jin Air. And they've got another wave prepped right away to take into this mid lane. However, super minions have been cleared out. Inhibitor back up on the bottom side. They don't need to commit to taking this turret.
But they're going to take it anyway. They do so much damage.
Mad Life misses the combo, and Mad Life has to go forward, blow the Unbreakable Will. So can't get the engage. He's looking for another wave right there following up. CJ has to come with a miracle engage right now. If they can win this fight, they could still win the game.
Yeah. Also, I'm loving the Elixir of Sorcery on Captain Jack because he just does... That true damage to towers is so big right now, on top of the poke, so it's just great buy.
Yes, it is. So there we go. Ooh. Definitely helping against the... Okay, they're going to go for it. Space uses on the hunt, but Jin Air immediately kites out. And they get the tower. Another engage, but only onto Che. More poke damage being taken, and look at that. Everybody falling down right now. Trace taking a huge amount of damage, but he's healing up well enough to get out as his ultimate popped.
Oh!
And there you go. The spear from Chaser on the retreat. Takes out Ambition. Whew, close call for Che and Trace.
No teleports for either side. They're just going to push this up and maybe... No, they're going to have to back off.
They have to back off. Helper CP's coming up right now. If he teleports behind them, that would be disastrous.
Teleport to what, though?
Oh, he can't. Yeah, you're right. No minions, no wards.
CJ's been cooped up in the base for so long.
A dark jungle. A dark and scary jungle for CJ Entus.
Never know where that cat's going to pounce out of with her spear.
Well, she doesn't have much mana, so... Okay, so now here we go again. Inhibitor number 3. There's some action going up on top lane. Trace actually takes a huge amount of damage. Trace is going to die. Uh-oh. This could be good for CJ. This could be the turnaround. There's the CC. Che also falls.
2 down.
Is this going to be the end here? They have to push up the super minions. They're going to get a dragon, which will put them at number 4.
Top lane wave is pushing into that next solo Nexus turret, so Helper needs to push us out. We'll see if...
I don't know. He's not going to be able to actually kill the wave in time. Uh-oh. That is huge.
Naked Nexus.
Yeah, the Naked Nexus. They have no control over the minion wave.
4 dragons.
Yeah, the 4 dragons. So this is the last hope, really, for CJ. It's not even much of one. It's still a glimmer.
They go for the 5 dragon. They go for a miracle. Or they go for the miracle team fight, which leads them into the 5 dragons later on.
Well, they definitely still have a team composition that can pull it off. So I'm not sure how Trace ended up in the base right there. Looks like it was a miscommunication where he went in over the wall with the twisted advance. So that's going to set him further behind. Do you like 4 Barons taken by Jenner in one game?
Oh my lord. The world of the mad world of Jenner.
Well, the thing about CJ is diving them is extremely difficult because getting into range of Rise is exactly what he wants for just that chain route. So it's difficult for them to conclusively finish this game.
Even with those defensive masteries and on top of the tenacity he's getting from the Merc Treads, that chain CC is just so powerful.
Yes.
And meanwhile, there's no one really else to grab. Actually, he could grab pretty much anyone except GBM with his cleanse, so...
Well, and Captain Jack with the scimitar.
Yeah.
So that it is tough, but...
Well, he could grab Captain Jack because the...
Oh, look at this. Lichbane, actually, for Chaser now. He actually doesn't even have a jungle item anymore. That's a really smart change in the buy. Go for the Lichbane so you could just finish this game faster.
It gives him extra turret damage. It gives him, execute damage.
Better dueling potential as well. Especially so he's just a 6-item Nidalee at this point.
However, if the game doesn't finish here, they're going to have trouble.
There's the engage on it. Captain Jack. Captain Jack cleanses immediately. Mad Life going in. And there's an equalizer. Not going to do a whole lot. And Che going to go down maybe in the end. Of course, Space actually spell shields the Nautilus ultimate. Is this a turnaround? CJ moving forward. Double kill for Coco.
They have to go back to defend, but well played by CJ.
Now, can they get a Baron is the question. 70-second death timers. CJ has so much damage.
They probably could, but they have to keep someone back. I would imagine Helper with his teleport to defend the base.
So scary because the backdoor threat is so real from Chaser.
Yeah.
He can kill something incredibly quickly.
Well, the saving grace is that the mid lane inhibitor is coming up. Oh, they see them.
They know they're there, but as long as they distract from the Baron, that's all Jenner needs to do. They're just buying time.
Well, clear out the pink wards.
Who is going to stay back? I mean, Coco could stay back.
This is a saving grace for CJ right now. Everyone is at 6 items on Jenner Green Wings. They do not have room for extra pink wards right now.
Yep, they
do. So Ambition can get that flank now if he can.
All right, they got to go for this. All right. If they want to do it, they don't know that Rise is... Oh, they actually... This could be absolutely game-changing. Because they're not going to commit to the kill, and that means CJ gets a Baron for free. They didn't poke in. Even though they had wards in a ring around the outside of CJ's base, they're just too scared to actually commit to this. So Jenner kind of faltering down the stretch right here, but CJ using that late game damage. I mean, Coco has a GA right now. There's probably not a lot of ways that Jenner can actually fight this Rise.
Wow. They're going down towards the Dragon Pit, but there's no dragon to be taken there.
Corki is a black cleaver now.
Weird.
That is super weird.
I think it may be the CDR, the 20% CDR you get from the black cleaver. I think might be big.
Jenner wants to pick, but there's no dragon coming up yet, so they probably shouldn't face check this. Ambition is there. They can't see him. They see him now. They're going to go for it. Twisted advance. Ambition gets caught. Ambition is dead. Equalizer lands, but how much follow-up is there? Trace gets punted back, trading 1 for 1.
Tank for a tank.
Yeah, tank for tank. So nice turnaround from CJ to make that work, but still. Dragon up. in another 2 minutes, and that means Jin Air is going to have to play for this one. All the inhibitors are back up for CJ. The Rise turnaround could be very real here.
They rose from the depths.
I don't know why you would sell your last Whisper for a Black Cleaver.
Technically, I think you get up to, what, 30% armor shred? No, Last Whisper gives you 35, doesn't it?
I mean, the problem is maybe you want that extra CDR, but at the same time, and the extra tankiness, I don't know if Corky's really going to do any damage any longer.
Well, he does physical damage with his Gatling gun,
yes.
and that allows you to stack it really quickly.
That does. He does it on, I believe, half-second ticks. So you could stack it across an entire team, but I mean, there's no one else to take advantage of it.
But
if there was another attack damage champion on this team, I could see it.
Right. Maybe he just thought it was a better buy than the Last Whisper. That's honestly the only thing I could think of.
I mean, there isn't a lot of armor on CJ, so he doesn't actually need percent penetration. Possibly that's it. All right, here we go. TP, they're going to get onto Maokai. Maokai coming in with a flank. Mad Life pops his ult immediately, gets drawn in. I don't know if you want Mad Life there. Trace gets hit back again. Is there enough damage to clean up the tank line, though? And here we go. Jin Air gets collapsed on. Jin Air is going to go down. GBM falls. Captain Jack has to flash, and this is going to be a win for CJ Entus at the end. The beautiful collapse with the Sivir ultimate. Now, do they have enough to finish? And they should have the timers, especially if Jack goes down. Jack takes Helper with him, but that's not going to be enough. They can just charge through the mid lane. Big turnaround from CJ Entus.
Big smile, at least for Coco standards, on Coco's face.
And that is a tough loss for Jin Air, but good patience from CJ, a very solid defense in the end. And I think that dealing with Mad Life that way in the last fight, they set him up time and time again to punt the Maokai back into his team. And that's going to be it. CJ will take the win in game 1.
58 minutes and 51 seconds.
Wouldn't be a Jin Air game.
Wouldn't be a Jin Air game. Well played by CJ Entus. They kept in it. They stayed focused. Some lesser teams would have collapsed under the pressure, and they got what they needed to get the win.
Yep, and they had that big rise in the late game to help carry them through, but really it was about Mad Life in those team fights that helped them isolate targets so they could actually get the victory, because Trace tried to come in with that teleport in the end, but CJ committed to it immediately, coming back with the Sivir ultimate, turning on him on their flank. Rough time for Jin Air.
Very well played by both teams, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that what I mentioned, the 6th item status means that they lose a lot of space for pink wards. And now, with Jin Air on the blue side and CJ Entus on the red side, Azir right out of the gate.
So the Azir ban comes through. They really don't want Coco to have that, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I'm just sad because I love watching Coco's Azir.
It's great. He is the last sandbender.
The last sandbender. It's kind of like the first one, actually. Maybe Easy Hoon was the first one. So, what will it be for CJ Entus? They did ban the Annie, Rek'Sai, and Victor last game. They're not going to have that same freedom. Jin Air's going to get something nice out of this deal. Alistair taken away. I think that was smart. Alistair, I think, was actually the primary reason why they lost that last game.
Yes, it was.
Besides just the miscommunications between Trace and the rest of his team on some of the TPs and some of the engages, but that would not have been punished as hard if there was not an Alistair to move Trace around.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a classic Mad Life champion too, so, I mean, what will CJ go to now in terms of their support picks? I mean, Janna is still open, they have, Thresh still open, Rek'Sai is going to be the next ban.
Yep, and Rise taken out this game, no more Rise for Coco. Especially as a counter pick in the mid lane. You saw the power that he offered to turn that game on its head. And what will it be? Will it be the Gragas here? Will it be the Victor or the Annie? Probably they're going to take Annie on red side because Ambition plays a very nice Annie. So it'll be Gragas, and they will take Annie unless Jin Air wants to take it. They could first pick Victor, and that is what they're going to do. Remember that Sivir and Annie are still up. They would be powerful engage tools for CJ Entus.
Could be really good. On top of that, they get somebody that builds another Righteous Glory on top of it. You get the Talisman Ascension Annie. Boom. Bada bing. Bam.
Boom, boom, bada bing, not bada bing, bada boom.
English is my second language.
You're not hip with the Frank Sinatra, that period in the '60s where people used to say stuff like that.
My hips do not hop. So.
Oh, I definitely believe that. Evelyn being looked at by Ambition. I'm still not a fan, but
well, I like the Maokai.
The Maokai is strong, but they give up Sivir and Annie for it.
Nope, they are going to take the Sivir.
So probably this will mean that Chaser gets Eve if they take the Sivir. And going for a very safe champion in the top lane for Maokai. I almost said top line, I almost became Korean there for a second.
Yeah, right?
Calling the lanes lines instead of lanes.
Soon you'll hear me pronouncing all the champion names in a Korean, the way they're written in Korean.
Well, that will be quite confusing to people. So Annie has to be taken here, I feel. You can't let them have Maokai, Sivir, and Annie. That is too much engage to deal with.
We'll see how good Helper is on Maokai. Especially if he's known for more of his carry-oriented champions.
I think that anyone is good on Maokai. I think I can be good on Maokai.
Someone out there will prove you wrong somehow.
W to a minion every time.
Yeah. Throw your saplings in completely the wrong direction.
Walk into a team fight, forget to toggle R on. There's only so many misplays you could have with Maokai.
True, true. All right, Evelyn for Chaser.
Evelyn, Annie. Expected picks are locked in, so Ambition has to dive deeper into the jungle champion pool. Of course, something he's known for. He's been one of the most successful Lee Sin players this season, and he's got that Maokai to gank for in the top lane. And you have to imagine that Trace is going to play Rumble here. Coco has played Echo into GBM's Victor before, so he's going to pick that matchup once again. Unless it's a jungle. Could still be a jungle Echo, we don't know. That is a champion that I would say Ambition is likely to play.
If he does play it, would he build tank, the Cinderhawk tank build, or
Yeah,
would he go into the Magus and
No,
damage?
yeah. You definitely go for the tank Echo. You have enough damage, I think, off of your passive procs that you're going to be okay. And you do need him to add that little bit of extra front line. Oh, this would be a big switch up for Trace. Looks like they're going to lock in Hecarim, considering he's already switched to Ignite's teleport. So just thinking about what AD carry they want here.
So I've talked to Nofei before, and he, during IM Katowice, he said there was two schools of thought where, Koreans would think that Maokai beat the Maokai Hecarim match, and the Chinese thought that the Hecarim wins that matchup. And apparently, according to him, Hecarim is the counter pick to Maokai, which, as proven through IM Katowice, his words. So, this could be, in their mind, a counter pick to the Maokai, at least have a stronger lane.
Well, I like Captain Jack. I mean, we'll see how it actually pans out. Of course, Hecarim doesn't come online until later than Maokai in the game, generally speaking, because he's very item dependent. But I like the Lucian pick here. I really like the Lucian pickup because they want to just win the laning phase. Janair, I think they played better for like 90% of the game last time, but it faltered in the end. And they can be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more punishing with a Lucian Annie lane and a Victor in the mid lane. Cassiopeia, it's a large troll that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
That is so risky. Yeah, I think the TF is actually a good pick. And yes, TF is going to be the lock-in. The TF is very interesting because you're going to be able to just make sure that you can get those engages. Again, it's just another long-range engage tool with the Sivir, with the Maokai, and make sure you can get onto that backline. And Victor, not really going to be able to get out of a lot of these engages that CJ is going to be offering up. Just a ton of crowd control from the CJ Entus composition. And
is this an Annie mid?
No.
Okay.
No, they're still they're trying to figure this out. They're trading around.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Finally.
They figured it out in the end.
I would have been very surprised to see a Victor support all of a sudden.
Would you? It's Jin Air. Whatever. I mean, we could have seen Chaser's Rengar come back out.
This isn't Tucson on alongside I am. This is not the player that you would want to, that you would think of unorthodox picks.
Yeah, it's true. Che definitely a much more meta player. Well, Jin Air going to be playing some Hecarim this game, and a bit of a surprise for this team, this organization. Can they get it to work? They have a double flank composition, but there's really nobody to flank on CJ because Coco's going to be in the back line and Sivir's going to be charging forward. So
and you'll have Echo doing the same thing.
That's right. Well, we're going to get into game number 2, guys. Jin Air versus CJ coming right up.
Much bigger cheers from the Jin Air side this time around.
They had to wake each other up after the last game, Barry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, Evelynn and Hecarim are great if you're playing against something like a Jinx, or you're playing against a Victor, or somebody that wants to stand pretty far back and have a very safe pocket behind the front line to the flanks. Those are the kind of champions that are vulnerable to flanks. But CJ is just all in. Everyone's going in with his composition. So who exactly are the targets going to be for Evelynn and Hecarim? The flank is still going to be good, but it's going to be nowhere near as powerful as it is against certain other compositions. So I like CJ's draft here. I think it should be really fun to watch.
I mean, I love the amount of backline threat that they have, right? Because they have Coco going in the back. Then you have Echo with the phase dive, and he gets that blink right after that first dash. So, and they have good amounts of AoE CC that they can bring out as well on top of the single target card. So, good composition, well rounded out. But I feel like if they fall behind, they'll stay behind.
Yes, that is the problem, is that they have to be effective in this early game, but they have a lot of crowd control in the lanes to do it. They have hard CC, they have in top and bot. That means that Coco has some freedom for where he's going to gank. There's also the possibility of some insane mind games here. So let me pull up a situation that could happen. So Coco backs, all right, to buy some items. Ambition stands farming in the mid lane. He then recalls, and then they both teleport back into mid lane for a gank. That actually is a possibility. This can happen. Nuts. This is a thing that can happen.
And the amount of damage that's loaded onto that ult too, if he can actually land it on top of going back in.
That would be very unlikely. You actually have to stand in his shadow after he recalled. You would be pretty dumb to do that. But ooh. Ambition. Nice little poke here early on. GBM is here. Ambition cannot take this. Has to flash. Flash follow-up. There's more hates. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ambition.
Oh, no.
Well,
they didn't. Oh.
He went on a dangerous mission. Chaser found him at the Scuttle Crab, got the jump on him, had the red buff already. So it was red buff versus blue buff right there.
Red buff wins.
Yes, red buff. Quite potent. So. Little bit of a disadvantage, and now Chaser is going to have his run of the enemy jungle.
That's such a smart way to, smart thing for a Chaser to have done, though, because Ambition obviously didn't expect his red buff to be stolen solo by Evelynn. So, and all the other lanes showed, so he probably thought it was just a regular jungle start.
Yes, yes he did. It was. So when they saw, to explain that, when they saw CJ go in and put all those wards in that formation that's becoming more popular, where it covers all the entrances, you kind of know that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
So Chaser, we've seen Chaser's creative jungle pathing before. I mean, he absolutely dominated Watch the other day when he just basically ran circles around him via pathing.
Yeah.
And that was very clever. Yeah, you're right, absolutely right, Barry. You do not expect that.
I don't blame Ambition for getting first blood like he usually does this time.
He's not known for getting first blood out of the jungle. That was a mid lane thing.
Yeah, but reputations carry over. Well, Chase are trying to maybe make something work here.
No, not really going to find much. Bad Life already on the recall.
CJ is wise to his tactics.
Wise to his tactics, yes. And Chaser starts to get some more deep wards in there. He's the king of the crab this time. Where he got it stolen away so many times in the last game by Ambition.
Good spell shield.
Yeah, we haven't seen very much Jungle Echo. Spen has played it. That's about it.
We've mainly seen it in the mid lane, I think.
We actually have seen hardly any Echo at all. Mickey and Coco are the only players to have played it in the mid lane.
Right.
So it's only been a couple games here and there. Certainly not as popular here in Korea as it has been in other regions.
We've seen it everywhere else, like top lane, jungle, mid lane.
Yeah, still no top lane Echoes in Korea.
Yeah.
That here comes Ambition. There goes Ambition. There's no gank there. Jays are going to get seen on this ward.
Standard Evelyn ward.
Yep, nice ward into that side. Bad Life went for the early recall and then the ward placement after the recall of the bottom lane from Janair. And yeah, just looking at pickaxes, kind of early recalls for both AD carries actually.
Yeah.
This game very fast. Getting that earlier power. And GBM just farming up, having a bit of a hard time though already, falling pretty far behind his lane opponent. Coco going for the level 2 boots. He does not have Ghost this game.
Cleanse.
Yeah, he needs it against the Annie. So the cleanse has to be taken. And that means that he needs that little bit of extra speed if he's going to go gank lanes right as he hits 6.
That's the cooldown boots. Interesting choice.
It's very common to see on TFs who take cleanse. Just because you need that speed boost in the other lanes to make sure you can wrap up kills. And it makes, of course, means that you have more gold cards to use during a chase, and then more ultimates overall. It can accelerate the pace of your ulting.
So what do you build next after that? Then a cooldown boots, then do you go Morellonomicon, do you go Lich Bane, do you go Zonia?
That's what I love about TF. There's so many different options. In this particular game, I would go Zonia, but I think it'll depend on how it actually ends up playing out. Coco just auto-attacking Chaser over the wall, taking a little bit of damage from that Grump buff, but not too much. And I take the Zonias just because there's a Victor, and your primary focus should just be getting in the back line and team fighting. So you can take, or you could take Morellonomicon into, Coco taking a bit of damage right there. Chilling Smite goes down.
A lot of damage.
They just need to keep him chunked out. That should be the goal right now. Make sure that he's not going to be high health enough to make plays onto the lanes. Trace playing very far back underneath his own turret. Everyone on Janair positioning themselves in the lane pretty defensively at the moment. You can see there's a pink ward even in the river brush for Janair on the bottom side.
Surprised it hasn't been cleared out yet. I guess Halberd just wanted to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, this is interesting. So yeah, Mad Life trying to walk forward right here, but there's a big wave coming in. You can see Janair don't want to walk forward. They know Coco's ultimate is up. They don't want to give him any opportunities.
Once again, a slower start to the earlier game, with the exception of that exciting first blood.
But even then, Janair is actually behind because they're losing out in CS on a couple lanes at the moment.
Yeah, 9 CS down in the 80 carry position. It's recovered significantly in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think that after GBM was able to upgrade his Hex core, he's been able to clear the waves better and force TF to lose a couple into the turret, as well as that gank, denying a bit of CS too. So, Janair still looking to ward heavily on the bottom side. Deep ward's going in courtesy of Mad Life. And CJ still going to be looking for that opportunity, but there hasn't been a choice really yet for Coco as to where to go. Trace is just literally just sitting there farming under his turret and not pushing out the lane.
Yeah.
And he has that control over it. He can push out the lane anytime he wants because he's playing Hecarim, and he just use that rampage and keep on going.
I feel like what the desire here is that you have the Sivir, you have the Maokai, both of them shove in waves so well, and they just want maybe a misstep, a bad gank to come in, and then the TF goes in to save the day.
Yeah, the problem is that you have to have that wave pressure in order to make that a reality.
Right.
And you're going to be giving up a lot in the mid lane. If Coco doesn't, if it has to TP under his own turret, GBM could just kill the tower in mid lane.
Right. I feel like it's a win-win kind of gambit for CJ Entus, though, because then if they constantly push up both side lanes, and then they get a lot of chip damage onto the turrets, and meanwhile in the mid lane you just have Coco just farming up, and then Chaser has to make a very tough decision about where to go.
Yes, true. I just don't know if they are getting the chip damage down. We haven't seen those towers in a little bit. So it's because of the way that Jack and Che are freezing right now, they're not really getting that damage down. Coco, Chaos Storm comes in on top of him just to push him out, and that's fine. All GBM has to do is control him.
Doing a fine job of that.
So he's all the way back now. Doesn't have a lot of wards around the river to play too aggressively for very long. Coco still has his last potion, and he has a couple amp tomes.
The bottom lane CS lead has also shrunk again, too. So, CJ Entus, what do they want to do?
Yeah, there's still 300 CS up. I'm not entirely sure where that is coming from.
Might be from the jungle, enchants.
Yes, that is possible. Jungle enchants because of the Sightstone first from Chaser. Might be from the Relic Shield as well. That's a pretty large gold lead, though, considering that First Blood is on to Jin Air. It's very strange, actually.
40.
I'm not exactly sure what's causing that. Trace, meanwhile, hasn't recalled yet out of the top side. All he has had is that flask, so just a very farm-centric lane. But because of the passive way he's been playing, he hasn't had a chance, really, to recall without losing some golden experience to the turrets. So there may be a dive possibility. If CJ wants to 3-man dive top, which they could, yep, this is really smart. Yep, just going to go ahead, land the gold card. Trace has to ult out. So they can't finish it off, though. Ambition not there. They can't get the turret. That is not going to be a possibility, and they're going to take about equal damage onto the mid lane. Chaser there for some auto attacks. Now, Coco coming in from the flank is just going to clear the way with the wild cards. GBM gets a parting auto attack, and Ambition there with the Raptor buff. Not going to be able to make a play too far away, and they do actually get the tower. That is a bit of a surprise.
Well done. You know, I feel like it might have been more worth it. Like, I know this is like armchair kind of shot calling, but it might have been more worth it for, you know, Jin Air to have just gone for that dragon with 2 people on the top side. It would have taken them a very long time to get down there instead of going for that chip damage on the mid lane.
Well, I think that they didn't commit to the mid lane turret early enough either. It's hard to say right now. I mean, if they can get the mid lane down soon, then it might be worth it. But
oh my!
I mean, they can keep ganking Trace now on the top side because he has no safety.
Right, and a Righteous Glory onto the Maokai.
Okay, nice flash from Coco, and here we go. Some all-ins in the bottom side space, pops his ultimate. There's some trading going on. Jack trying to deal damage to Mad Life. Jack doesn't really do any damage to Mad Life. There is a teleport onto the Tibbers. Trace going to come through, and now everybody coming down into the bottom. They're going to go W under the turret. Helper gets the kill. Trace trying to get under the tower. Is he going to be able to do anything? Chaser's here, and here comes GBM. Flash, Death Ray, absorbed by the spell shield, but GBM turning this one around. Coco didn't have his ult to come down to the bottom side. All he has is a Sheen. Trace not going to pick up the kill. GBM instead Death Rays his way to a double. And that was some good timing, at least on the part of GBM, to get there before Coco. No gate Destiny to be used. 4-2 now, the kills for Jin Air.
Meanwhile, Ambition tries to furiously push the mid lane in to at least deny some CS, but GBM will be right there to pick it up.
Yeah, very big commitment in that bottom side. They tried to get down there with the TP, but Trace matched it, and then the faster roam from GBM helping to turn it around. So, dragon attempt by CJ. They should know this is going on.
Did Mad just miss a stationary target?
I think he did. That's how he rolls. Massive hook. Doesn't he? That, see, he saves his missed hooks for the dragon.
Ah, gotcha.
You know? He uses them all up there, and then that's why he hits all the other ones.
Never knew it worked like that.
Yeah,
I'll try it myself.
No, it only works for Mad Life.
Oh, okay,
I'm
gotcha.
sorry.
All right, all right.
He has a certain missed hook quota, so he has to like roll through that pretty quickly on unimportant objectives, unimportant moments.
Good for him.
Please don't try it at home.
Please don't try it at home.
Well, in spite of that, CJ still coming out with a slight gold lead. Not really going to make a big difference, but they have the first dragon of the game. They have that first tower, and now they can really abuse this top side. This is where Helper needs to get a big advantage because he's going to be able to put the pressure on. Because if Trace goes too far out, well, guess what? That TF is going to be behind him in a flash. He's actually going for the Lich Bane. So my question is, how early on is a 1-3-1 going to develop?
You know,
but I don't really like this because when you get Lich Bane first, I love it on TF when you can actually 1-3-1. But
right.
You're not in a situation where you're going to be able to 1-3-1 really here at all. I mean, Trace is going to be pushed in merely because you have a TF in that global ganking threat, but not because this Maokai is going to be doing a lot to him with the Merc Treads and the Flask.
Well, what this shows to me is that Coco is expecting, you know, more of these like smaller skirmishes to keep erupting rather than these big team fights. So he doesn't have to go in and zone just to initiate a fight. In these smaller skirmishes, he just needs to dump as much damage as possible, delete one person, and turn it into like a power play, essentially.
Yeah, but he's not going to out-damage the Victor is the problem.
Well, if he can get there ahead of the Victor with his ultimate, it's not going to be an issue, but problem, as always, is execution.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to try and take away this red buff. Assist me pings coming down. Chaser watching helplessly as that buff is targeted. It does not get taken away, however. And you can see Trace doesn't want to push up, just waiting for that wave. He's going to farm out some wolves in the interim. Doesn't have smite, but he doesn't really care.
Blue is up. Will CJ contest this, though? Well, they'll take the red.
Wow, they're contesting both buffs at once. Janair should not let them do this. This is a very punishable action.
They will.
Yep, there's a Chilling Smite going down. Oh, he missed the Death Ray. Looked like at least the first proc, and now this is going to prompt a dive onto this bottom part. Jack is all alone. Jack is certainly dead. Hello, Parallel Convergence. Hello, Death. And that is Jack. Dead to rights. Helper going to pay for it. Helper all alone on the top side. Good response by Jin Air. Now it's going to be a bit of a turret race. I don't know if they want to do this against a Sheen. They don't have a Sheen. Trace does not have Sheen yet. I don't think they can win this as long as the Lich Bane is there.
But I think what they might be going for is that the mid lane turret might be more...
It's definitely more valuable.
It's more valuable for them rather than the bottom tier 2. So overall, still a good trade, even if it's an equal-ish trade.
More worth, Barry. What has the internet done to your grammar?
It's terrible.
You've been ruined by the internet.
I've been ruined. I think it's just mainly because I'm looking at League of Legends and then I'm just falling into that gamer.
More worth.
I'm just falling into that gamer lingo right here.
Yes, it's definitely a favorable trade, but the kill still goes over to, well, they could kill a piece actually, so that's why we haven't seen the needle move on that gold differential.
But I think Jin Air wants that top lane turret, but they're going to back out.
I think they're going to get out of there. Even though TF Ultimate isn't available, don't want to commit to that. Coco is going for a blasting wand now. Now I'm confused, Barry.
Rabadons?
Must be. Must be.
Well, I think he's running CDR blues mainly because his ult is really short. The cooldown seems really short with that with the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. So
yeah, you'd definitely be running CDR blues here, but that is going to be a bold engage.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ways to lock up that Twisted Fate. And dropping the gravity field right where he's porting is a wonderful way to do that. You can have cleanse, but he's still going to get slowed and stuck in the molasses. And if he cleanses immediately, Che can just hit him with a stun. I think you want to go for just the old reliable Sonia's Hourglass, so you can
here
make
it
sure.
comes.
Here he goes. There's a parallel convergence, but there's no follow-up. The stun doesn't land. Ambition gets trapped and stunned himself. Uh-oh. Not a turnaround, though. Mad Life there. There's the depth charge. He gets a double knockup, but Chaser to save the day with an Evelyn ultimate to force CJ to disengage. Bit of a sloppy team fight in the mid lane, and not much gain. Captain Jack still trying to farm his way up to some more items right now. Has that Avarice Blade. We've got the AD carries matched in items, pretty much 1 for 1.
Well, Dragon's coming up in about 40 seconds. So I think this is going to be the next point of contention because I don't think Jin Air would want this. I feel like they would feel confident enough to fight in a 5v5. So they don't want to give CJ this Dragon timer that's going to happen.
Yeah, my question is Trace going to be able to get this Trinity Force before this Dragon fight erupts? He's going to recall right now, and yes, he is. That's a big power spike for the Hecarim. Again, some problems with the flank. Chaser is not going to have his ultimate available for this fight. However, Jin Air held on to all their other ults. Space is ultless. Mad Life is ultless right now. So that is a big edge to Jin Air, who has other forms of engage besides the Evelyn Agony's Embrace. Trace is not going to TP for it, though, so just going to start this off. They should know they have the ult advantage, and they can go for this.
Hello convergence onto the back line.
And there it is, taken by Chaser, but here comes the, oh boy, Space just dies to Trace's Trinity Force nearly immediately. Helper still getting focused. There's Captain Jack dashing forward. Everyone's so low, and is there enough peel? GBM still trying to power through right here. There is the orb to see them underneath the turret. Coco low. Coco got a gold card GBM. And Trace actually gets bottled up under the tower.
Great
nice
play.
Job from Mad Life. Overextension from the Jin Air Green Wings. And there's no minion wave there to keep diving. And they're going to have to settle for just a blue buff after that death.
Still, Jin Air still comes out a little bit ahead.
Yep, they come out with their first dragon of the game, but we're still dead even in terms of gold.
Yeah.
Much more action-packed game, which is to be expected considering the amount of engage on both of these teams.
Now you'd have to wonder if CJ had all of their ultimates, whether that story would have changed right there.
Well, I think that's why you go for it. Coco trying to punish GBM right now. They popped on the hunt. They want to punish, and they're going to get it. There is a shutdown for Ambition onto GBM. Bit of an uncharacteristic play. GBM not normally playing that far forward. He almost never dies in those kind of situations, so bit of a misplay from GBM, not respecting that the ults from Sivir and from TF were both up.
It's a pretty big investment from CJ though. They spent flash from Coco, they used the Sivir ult, and now they're just going to zone them off.
Yep, but they get a tower for it, so CJ striking back, and Captain Jack, no culling available, so are they going to lose it? They don't have the wave clear.
That Lichbane is doing work.
Yes, that Lichbane is definitely doing work. I agree, Barry. They lost their wave clear, so they lose 2 turrets and trade for 1. And GBM dying, huge impact, and CJ really just pushing it to the maximum possible degree.
Well played by CJ, and comes out with a 1.2k gold lead. Not a lot, but still, it's something.
Well, it was so important, though, for them to take down those 2 mid lane turrets, because now they have even more avenues to create picks. And they can actually get in deep wards into the enemy jungle, which was imbalanced in favor. Uh-oh. This is a Baron. This is a Baron attempt.
This is bold. They can do it, too.
Wow, they're just going to get it for free.
Oh, they see it.
It's too late. There's no one there. That's it. Jin Air just gets a free Baron.
Wow.
Great call. No wards. Trace realizes that he has TP advantage, so he just pushes. And CJ doesn't, I didn't even think they could do it right there. But again, without the Gate Destiny being up, once they realized there was no wards, there was no way for CJ to see that. And they had so many people in the bottom side jungle. Great call from Jin Air, just great.
And when it was all said and done, 400 gold lead for Jin Air Green Wings. This is a seesaw.
This game has been so interesting because it's been all about ult cooldowns, and both teams have exploited the other. It's been back and forth.
Well, CJ may be hoping to get a pick.
I want to see just a replay of that Baron, but I don't think we're going to get too lucky Here we go.
It'll be a 3v3,
the gank
4v3.
brush. It's going to be a 4v3, but they have ult, and there we go. Captain Jack gets targeted with the depth charge, knocked up immediately, but there's the turnaround, Timbers, and Gravity Field, and that is a death. Oh, not quite, actually. Ambition getting out. There's the culling just for the disengage. They can't follow it up. Nice try from CJ. I'm actually surprised Ambition got out of that. He managed to pop his ult at the last second.
Captain Jack lived by the skin of his teeth.
Captain Jack, fast fingers, and GBM and Che instantly responding with their crowd control. Good reaction. That was a clever bait, though, from CJ.
Now they have to defend the top lane tier 1 against this Baroned up minion wave too. So we'll see how hard CJ wants to defend this.
I would say it would be unwise to defend it too hard right now. Yes, they have some good wave clear, but there's a lot of dive potential, and you're tangling with some pretty serious forces while Jin Air has that Baron buff on. Coco going on a split pushing mission. This is all about just waiting out. Oh, we got the Abyssal Scepter. Okay. Makes sense.
Abyssal Scepter and another blasting wand. So the mystery continues.
The mystery of the blasting wand. That sounds like a Harry Potter detective novel.
Sounds more like I don't know. Could be a Hardy Boys book.
The blasting wand, really? You don't think that's too magical for the Hardy Boys?
No, because they do a lot of like pseudo magical things, right? It could be some random artifact that like someone thought was magical, but it actually wasn't. I don't know, man.
Well, I look forward to your debut into young adult literature. Actually, please don't do that.
Okay.
Keep the children away from your memes.
Oh, but
we don't need another generation saying more worth.
But memes are for sharing. That's why they're memes.
That's right, just not with children.
Okay, so Dragon back up soon. Blue buff is going to be contested.
Yeah, not a lot taken for that Baron. Blue buff, I think, gets to Chaser. Still will have a smite available for the Dragon.
Yeah, 2 charges.
Helper has to use his ult right there. There'll be a little bit of downtime. Parallel convergence used, actually. This is a good timing. Maokai doesn't have ult, and Ambition doesn't have parallel convergence, so they should go for this now. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to try a 50-50, and nope, Ambition pops back out with his ultimate. Trace is here on the flank, though. He finds his way into 4 of them. Holy cow, but there's the Timbers missing, and the Chaos Storm just going to plow on through. Captain Jack gets a double. GBM flashes forward to his doom. But there's Jack. Space also going to fall. And so Dragon and 3 kills for 1 in favor of the Jin Air Green Wings. However, what can they take? Maybe a tier 2 in the bottom lane. They've kind of cleared out everything else on the map, however.
They might go for both.
Ooh. 2 towers. Fancy. All right, let's take a look at how this went down. So here we go. Helper eats a culling, and that's just a great ult. Che actually did stun Coco right there, it looked like, so he did actually land the Timbers onto 1 person. But just the Wombo combo that comes in after the Onslaught of Shadows, doing just a ton of damage. GBM, maybe you don't want to flash forward into that Sivir, but Space also ends up paying for it with his life.
Oh, no.
Well, CJ now firmly on the back foot. But anything can change with a good engage with this composition, so.
I like how Captain Jack went for his 3rd item QSS. He sees that there's not a lot of armor yet. It's actually a good pickup. Helper's just has that Spirit Visage, only now starting to pick up the cloth armor. There's an Aegis onto Ambition. So why not just get the QSS right now, make yourself a little bit less vulnerable to the Maokai and to the TF, and then build into a Last Whisper right when they get their armor items. Good build. Here we go, TP. Here comes the flank from behind. Oh boy, Space, goodbye. That is it for him. Just gets nearly one-shotted by Trace, that Hecarim. So dangerous if you can get a flank as such. And another kill. Baron up in a minute 25. Jin Air looking to end this game much sooner than the last one, playing aggressively.
Yeah, that was just a lot of damage. You didn't even use Ignite for that, too.
Why would you need to use Ignite when you have a Trinity Force and a charging pony? Get out of here, Barry. You don't light people on fire, you trample them under your glorious hooves.
The fire keeps you warm at the same time.
Well,
Oh.
okay, Trace gets into the back once again alongside Chaser. Helper still under the turret. Helper actually taking a lot of damage, but gets hit by the gravity field. Captain Jack is actually very chunked out. Have they gone too far? They have. Coco with the turnaround, and Jin Air is going to get aced 40 seconds before the Baron spawns. They're going to have time to get there, but a sloppy engage by Jin Air. They went on to Helper.
Ambition had one of the best parallel convergence into his ultimate that I've seen in a while.
Yeah. It was definitely strong. There was a lot of crowd control, but you cannot dive a composition like CJ's. Parallel convergence, so much. There's like stuns on everybody.
Yeah.
So let's check out how this looks. Trace comes in from behind. Chaser just kind of wanders around in a circle underneath the turret for a second, so not great team fighting from him either. So let's watch Ambition right here as he comes up from the side. You can see keep on charging forward to get that damage down. And Che, it's just easy cleanup.
Yeah.
A really good composition for counter diving. So Jin Air punished for it. Now that's a CJ lead. They're not going to be able to get a free Baron.
This game is so back and forth.
Yeah, that was
pretty ridiculous.
That was pretty sloppy by Jin Air.
Well,
I mean, again, it looks like Trace is just out of sync with his team because Chaser literally just ran around in a circle in front of the turret before he actually started attacking anybody. And Trace isn't tanky enough yet to do that. Yeah, he does damage. Great for those picks. But they're not in a situation yet where they can dive the tower. Remember that Chaser has that warrior enchant going for the damage early. They have to have more time.
but will they get it? Because CJ Entus looks like they want to establish position on this Baron and maybe, get the advantage that they need to close out the game. So, Scuttlecrab going to CJ. And meanwhile, Helper catching the wave at bottom. Just standard line of scrimmaging.
Yeah, I mean, they have to put more pressure on with this Hecarim, but they're scared to because they don't have TP. Now, if they see Hecarim on this side of the map, that could prompt a teleport play from CJ just onto the Baron. They have vision. They could basically do what Jin Air did in the last game. That's why Trace is playing so cautiously around this bottom side right now. He doesn't want to get seen.
CJ should just go for the top lane. Tier 2 right now, I think.
They could, but I think they just need to bait around this Baron.
Well, Dragon up in almost a minute. 50 seconds left.
Helper now sees Trace in the bottom side as they don't want that wave moving too far up. And
Helper is so big right now.
yeah, he now that the Frozen Heart is done, he's going to have a lot easier time against Captain Jack. Captain Jack finishing his last Whisper, though. So he's not going to be too far behind when it comes to dealing with the tank line.
No Zonia on either mid lane or two. No Zonia's Hourglass.
Yeah, well, on the Victor, it doesn't really surprise me that much, but on Coco, it really does. He's going for it now, but
Watch him prove you wrong and it turns into
the
Luden's
Luden's
Echo for the poke damage on the wild card.
no,
Sweet, sweet poke.
no sweet poke.
All right, well, I think CJ can get this fairly easily. Chaser's very far away.
Yeah, they're scared too. Just gonna hold for a little bit of disengage.
2-2.
Yep, they just want to lock down the dragon. So you go ahead and use the Nautilus ultimate to that end, but they're gonna give up their wards around the Baron as the price.
CJ being forced to take a long way around on the way to Baron as well. Neither team overly eager to pull the trigger right now.
Well, somebody's gonna have to face check this brush. Coco is here clearing out a pink ward. There you go. Have a nice little sapling in the pixel brush. There's the check with the parallel convergence. Chaser here around the side, just skirting around Ambition's field of vision.
He is so deep behind enemy lines.
Oh man, they want this.
This would be a godly flank.
He's nicely hidden. They have no idea he is there.
Oh, but they're pushing back.
He's going to go for it. He goes for it. There's the Agony Embrace. Helper still on the front line. Trace gets onto space. Trace misses his ultimate, though. How much is that going to cost? Helper still tanking out most of this front line. There is space. Gets Che on the side. They're going to take down Helper. And who else is going to go down next? Ambition, the target. It is 1 for 2 right now. Mad Life and Helper go down. And Chaser's secret mission behind enemy lines proves successful. And now they can go for the Baron. Remember, Coco doesn't have an ult. Chaser is just so... Oh.
That was dirty. And he's going to pay for it.
Yes, he will. Coco is there. Coco flashes over the wall to finish it off, but they're not going to be able to get a Baron now because Ambition is still alive and they lost their jungler. So actually, that was a bit of a save. Chaser may have been too greedy to take down space. Flash Chilling Smite in the end.
Yeah. They could have taken the Baron.
I
feel like they could have.
They could have.
Right.
The question is, how much of a risk was it to keep doing that? Coco didn't have his ult, so maybe they could have pulled that one off, but incredibly close team fights in this game.
With CJ now at a 2.3K gold lead over Jin Air Green Wings.
Not that much of a deal, big deal, honestly.
This far into the game, yeah.
Yeah, this far into the game, GBM starting to build into that Lich Bane, so he has some extra mobility in these team fights.
And now we have the Zhonya's Hourglass for Coco, who's 5-0-6 on Twisted Fate.
Yeah, he has definitely been the major factor this game for his team. Everyone else dying quite a bit.
He's almost at 6 items.
Yes, well, yeah, definitely getting close. Void Staff will be his last one. And there is a gate. He knows he's in trouble. He's just going to have to gate out. Yeah, he got caught a little bit too far forward right there, realized that 5 members were collapsing on him, and so just preempts that little bad situation by going for the ultimate out.
So Jin Air Green Wings just hiding around the Baron area, and Chaser going on another super secret mission behind enemy lines.
I love Chaser's super secret missions. Here comes the TP. They've got TP this time. Both
Space
TPs being
is
used.
so
Space,
dead.
goodbye, buddy. You are not getting out of this one. There's another death, and Captain Jack following through. However, GBM on the side gets focused down immediately. He turns on to Bad Life. Bad Life caught out on his own. Jack may go down. Helper is here. How much damage do they have? Actually, CJ doing pretty well. Chaser and Trace have to pull this one out. GBM gets stunned by the parallel convergence. He's trying to kite, but it is too much. Everyone else is so low. Trace just trying to finish it off. Gold card means that he is stopped dead in his tracks. And the kiting from Coco actually saving them in the end.
Coco had exited that fight almost instantly.
Yes.
He took a huge bunch of damage, went down, started a recall, and stopped his recall about 3 times in the course of that fight.
And he kept putting out damage, too. He was throwing wild cards in, and he actually was the reason why his teammates were able to live.
Yeah, once he gets a Void Staff, he's going to do so much more damage, too. Those wild cards are actually doing a lot of work, too.
Yeah, and again, it's been about Trace and Space. I mean, Trace has just annihilated Space in every single team fight so far, just gunning directly at the center.
Oh, dear.
Goodbye.
Nice. That's stacked deck as well.
Stack deck doing work. Now it's going to be a 4v5. There is no more smite. Chaser a little bit greedy, and that's the second time a Jin Air member has not respected the gate. So they have to fight a 4v5, and that's going to go down so fast. I'm not sure Jin Air is really going to be able to do this.
They have the execute damage on Echo. They have the Lich Bane.
Yeah, they can't do this. They're going to have to back off and give this one up. No, they're going to go in anyway. They find Coco. Trace on the flank. He gets the fear, but the Baron goes to Ambition. Ambition gets stunned. How much follow-up damage is there? Not enough as Coco takes out Trace. And Che going to try and run back to the base right now. No more Tibbers for the Annie. Can CJ actually turn this game around? Come back from that sneak Baron. They're going to try and get some more turrets down, try and stretch that gold lead.
Can they get this inhibitor turret, though? That is the question. Will they get it?
The culling is down. Yes,
for you.
that is huge right there. They have so much damage with the Lich Bane from Coco that it just cuts through the base. Coco showing up absolutely massive.
Dragon is up now. Can CJ get this dragon? Can they contest this?
No, they're not going to get it. Basically, Janair is just going to rush it. They shouldn't have time. Coco's ult is up now, though. Yeah, now that Coco's ult is up, they can contest.
They're backing off.
Yeah, they
They're
can
afraid.
contest. Finally learning to respect that gate. But, man, Coco has been everywhere this game.
Can't help but be in love with it.
Can't help but be in love with the Coco. It's true.
All right, that's the third dragon going over CJ Entus, and they get that nice little move speed boost.
Still, the game relatively even.
Yes.
And remember, we've seen this story before. Janair was in the same situation last game, and they actually managed to turn it around. And if you just look at these team compositions, I mean, GBM and Captain Jack should be able to carry harder in the late game. Hello.
Oh, wow. That was just to check if anyone was hiding in that wall.
It was just a feeler, convergence, parallel convergence. Getting the information you need to make sure you can stay ahead.
And they're going for the split push with Coco, which is smart. And Coco still has the gate to come and join his team.
Yeah, however, the super minions are going to have to wait for a little bit before they're actually able to put that pressure down. And Coco gets caught, has to flash over the wall. Chaser, you can't, no. There you go. He's going to back off, but that's a great call from CJ. See two people there. Go after that bottom tower. Now Jack gets caught by Madlife. Here comes the gate. Everyone backing off from Janair. And are they going to be able to get anything? No, they have to use a Sivir ult because Chaser's coming from the flank. No Sivir ult, no glory used right there. That would have been a very dead CJ Entus. So the defense holds from Janair.
Just barely.
And
they still lose a turret, though.
Yeah, they lost a turret, but they're not going to lose a Nexus turret, it looks like. They're able to hold on.
Coco is up 5,000 gold on GBM.
That's absolutely crazy because it's not even like GBM is doing bad. He's 3-3-7. It's just the fact that Coco is 8-0-6.
With 383 farm.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have any place to spend like 2,000 gold of that money right now, so.
What can he do? The only thing I would think is maybe selling the Abyssal for a Ludens for more damage, but
I think he has he should be a little bit worried about GBM dropping a Chaos Storm or something on him, though, so that magic resist might actually be valuable.
well, gone back into a bit of a lull. Trace caught.
Pass ult out. Huge takeaway there for CJ. That's another backline spell that isn't going to be particularly threatening.
Well, Gate Destiny almost back up so they can go back to their split pushing ways with Coco, but they're going to group up as 5 in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they really want to take this. Remember, no more Baron buff, but also Onslaught of Shadows down for another like 40 seconds. So
they got a small window.
They do have a small window, even though, again, the super minions aren't there. Parallel convergence is not going to land. Captain Jack going to spin his pistols in front right there. And Ambition doing a really good job of zoning. GBM has to be super careful to just get ulted.
That tower, that inhibitor is going down so quickly.
Well, that's what Coco does. He's got that gold card locked and loaded. So you're going to unleash it, and there's just the righteous score. They just want the inhibitor. Very nicely done. Don't commit to a fight.
Chaser looking for a flank, though. He's going around, but CJ sees him.
Yeah, no, not going to find it. And instead, Janair has to turn back. They're going to once again defend their Nexus turret. This game is so similar to the last one, it is ridiculous.
Yeah, and yeah, Sivir finished with the Blade of the Ruined King. Will have a little bit of an easier time against the Hecarim. Maybe a little bit easier. If he can survive that initial burst, he might be able to sustain through. But if he gets
he's going to kill himself on the Thornveil.
If he can get the Elixir of Wrath, that might help, though.
It's all right. Trace will just get the Elixir of Sorcery for his Thornveil and deal true damage with his Thornveil damage. The most baller way if you're a tank to kill somebody is to buy Elixir of Sorcery while you have Thornmail, and then watch them take true damage. It's hilarious.
It's only
You're
once
welcome.
It's only once
You're
every
welcome.
6 seconds, though.
You're welcome, Solo Q.
It's only once every 6 seconds.
It's true.
It's not as broken as you think it is, guys. No, please no Rito please nerf this thread. It's not broken.
It's just hilarious.
Yes.
Okay, so Jinair trying to make a stand here.
Got another
The inhibitor's back up.
Ooh, Chaser. Still around the flank.
He's got to make a play. They have to engage this properly.
He's going in so far back.
I love you, Chaser. Let's go. Let's do this.
He's got it.
There we go. Coco taking a lot of damage right back. Coco is going to Zonia's right at the last second. Is he going to die, though? Mad Life goes down. Immediately space on the backside. GBM and Che doing a lot of damage. Captain Jack, where is he? He's got the autos in. They're going for it. Helper has to flash over the thick part of the wall. And there's the onslaught of shadows. GBM trying to get onto Ambition. Trace has to run away from space. He's doing too much damage, so they don't actually clean up any more kills after the initial onslaught from Jinair.
But Baron up in 15 seconds with Dragon to follow in the next 40 seconds. Death timer's at 40 seconds for Coco. Jinair's going to get both.
Well, they're at least going to get one. Trace has to go back to base right now just to clear out the super minions. They bought themselves some more time. This has been a very wild best of 3. Jinair going to go for it. Captain Jack has to do a little bit of tanking. Chaser finally going to arrive. Ambition going to pop an Iron Elixir, but they have to give up this Baron. No chance.
Well, get position around the Dragon. If you can get 4 Dragon stacks, then you go for the 5th one. It doesn't matter how long it goes. If you get that 5th Dragon stack, at least with teams of teams of this caliber, can close out a game with 5 Dragon stacks.
Yeah, they're going to push back this wave. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get there in time. The setup is too good. They're going to have to give up the Dragon and just to get their inhibitor back up. But frankly, just getting the Baron right now is a major trade. Trace is looking for it. Trace can't go for it, though. It's too late.
You know, I would have, quit my job or like any future jobs and set up the Church of Trace if you had somehow stolen that Dragon.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to get out, so...
Yeah. But that doesn't matter.
Okay, so here's what he should have done. It's just like TP to the pink ward in bottom lane,
yeah.
Run into the pit, stole it with a rampage, and then ulted over the back of the Dragon Wall.
Church of Trace. You missed that, Trace. You would have had at least one devout follower.
It's all right. I can set up the play. Actually, space.
They just want to get there quicker?
What?
I think it must have been a misclick. He must have fat-fingered it.
Well, he got down the lane really fast with his teammates. That's actually an important cooldown.
That was a fastest rotation we've seen yet.
That wasn't really a rotation. They're just walking down one lane.
Well, the real question is, does Jinair know about this?
Yeah, I don't think they saw it. So
if Jinair knows, then they're going to take this fight. They might know, actually.
That's a Destiny right there, Pop. They're going to try and get in just to defend the turret. Uh-oh. That turret going down real fast. They have a Lichbane now, too.
Well, bit of
GBM's Lichbane. And they've got this cannon minion. It is going to slowly whittle down this tower, or it's going to hit Mad Life. What the hell?
Nice.
Wow, that's actually super lucky that that happened.
Oh, man. Even the minions are on CJ Entus' side.
Yeah, actually, Jinair pulling back with this minion wave. They've got a couple members who are chucked down. Trace going to get in, and Chaser once again finds the flank. Is there enough follow-up? No, he's going to go down, but so is Helper, trading 1 for 1, but that Maokai loss is pretty huge. Again, there's no ult from TF.
No ult from TF, but the bottom wave is pushing. 2 super minions on that wave. Silver ult used, they're chasing.
They want to just stop the recalls right now. They want that inhibitor. GBM is gets seen, he gets seen. There was a ward right by the Raptors. And now Trace has to run away. GBM not playing smart around the vision. Trace still trying to gallop out, and he's gonna make it.
Is this the end? Because it's 66 seconds on GBM, 40 seconds on Chaser. This might be it.
It depends on whether they can actually get this And they can. Looks like they're going to stunt Captain Jack. There's the turnaround with the Timbers. Trace comes back in. He needs to kill somebody, and that's going to be somebody going down instead. And Captain Jack goes down. Double kill for Space. That's going to be it. What a wild series it has been between Jin Air and CJ tonight. Coco just going to swag teleport to the other side of the Nexus, and that is a CJ 2-0. Surprisingly, still incredibly close.
The closest 2-0 yet this season, too.
Ridiculously close 2-0. And CJ will avenge themselves for getting smashed by Jin Air a couple weeks ago.
Extremely well played by both teams.
Yeah, nice games. Especially that first one.
Coach giving his players a big hug and a kiss on the cheek, as usual.
Well, Coco is the man that game for sure. 8-1-9, ends the game. Huge, basically the main reason why CJ was able to win.
456 CS, 23K gold earned that game. That is ridiculous.
Absolutely massive. Also the most damage in the game, of course, followed up by Captain Jack and GBM. So really a nice hard carry. Tough loss for Jin Air. 2 very close games for them.
I mean, that's what happens when you ride this fine line all the time, right? You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Well, that game was much more aggressive early on, clearly.
I love the jungle pathing from Chaser.
Yeah, it's great at the beginning. Good start for Chaser.